welcome to my presentation. I'm super excited to be here again. I am a little bit bummed it's not in person and I didn't get to take a fun trip to San Francisco this year, but I'm coming to you live from Eagle, Idaho, which is a suburb of Boise. And we say Boise with a hard S. You can tell if you're from Idaho or not by the way you say that word. Idaho is known as the gem state, not the potato state, but the gem state. Just a fun little fact for you as we start, because we have over 72 types of precious stones and semi-precious stones. And some of those stones can only be found in Idaho and India, which is just an interesting little fact for you. So, all right, I'm going to jump into my presentation. I'm super excited to share some information with you today about what's going on in the Treasure Valley, which is located in southwestern Idaho, which is where Boise City and the bulk of the population of Idaho rests. Okay, so right now in our market, we are experiencing some really heavy migration from the coastal towns mostly. Let me just make sure I can see the chat. All right. From coastal cities, we have large amounts of cash flowing into our market from those out-of-state investors and people that are moving here. And just like Torrance mentioned, there's just some real heavy competition for homes in our market. There's a shortage. There's a nationwide shortage of homes right now. There's a ridiculous shortage of homes here in Idaho. So the market demand is really great right now. We're at a 1.2% month of supply. So we have 1.2, months of supply on our market, which is ridiculously low. The sales prices actually, like within the last 2 weeks, something's happened, and a lot of builders around here have jacked up their prices by like 1%. I had a builder that I work regularly with. We looked at a home last week and it was listed for $331. Went back to look at it. We looked at it like on a Monday, went back to look at it that Saturday with the same clients. It was now listed for $345. And we made an offer at $331 and they countered at full price. And then they went under contract that same day with somebody else. So there's been this appreciation just recently that's been crazy as well. But Boise's median price is up 20.3% from last year. The median in Boise is $355. So we have a shortage of rentals as well for our renters. I'm sad that my face is covering up some of my presentation. I apologize, guys, but here are some just median prices around our valley. So Boise is the city, but there's been this gentrification of areas around the city and people are moving out to the rural areas as well. So I've got the rural areas outlined here. Some of the rural areas would be like Nampa, Idaho, Eagle, which is where I live, Star, which is a suburb that's just outside of Eagle, and it's been identified as the #1 place to move in Idaho. Meridian, Garden City, Middleton, and Kuna. You can see the median. These are median prices. The median price in Eagle is $568. The median price in Boise at $355. And then some of those rural areas are a little bit lower in median prices. Garden City, just for any of you that are wondering, is in the middle of Boise City. It's close to downtown. There is a gentrification happening right now in Garden City. It used to be super industrial, but now people are buying up homes there. Fixing them up. It's the industry used to be right on the Boise River, which is like primo. It's a 30-mile green belt. So now industry is selling out. Builders and investors are buying up plots of land and building along the river. So that's why that Garden City is at 413, where it used to be a lower median than even Boise. All right. So the topic of my presentation today was that we're a buy and hold market, and that's definitely true in our market, and it has been for several years. Buy and hold, reinvest real estate. Just like a super quick overview. Boise's market was prime for flipping about 10 years ago, but because Boise's been discovered, it's been named as in the top 5 and oftentimes #1 place to live in the nation for several years. Because it's been discovered and due to the migration in the state that's occurring right now, it's a very rare occurrence where you can find a home to flip where the profit margin will be worth it. It can be done, but you have to be super aggressive and you have to have a realtor that knows the market and can get, boots on the ground, like Torrance said, can get right in there with you and make a move on day one. Homes that are perceived as undervalued will often receive multiple cash offers. And the price will be driven up to market value or even above market value, making the margins really tight on a flip right now in our area. However, those same homes can be found, renovated, and rented out long-term or via Airbnb and held. So there you go. So that's the investment strategy that I'm seeing is a strong strategy right now in our market. So the rental income from the property generates a short-term income on the buy and hold that can be used to pay off the mortgage and put cash in the investor's wallet. The property value will appreciate over time, and that allows an investor to make a profit when they're ready to sell the property down the line. Okay, so calculating the cost of buy and hold property, and I have 4 steps here. Number 1, you calculate the potential income, pay attention to the monthly revenue, and consider the potential profit at the end. And these are just some basic steps, but I just wanted to set this up before I jump into my next slides. Use a calculator. There's a great one found on calculator.net. Just a note here, to avoid capital gains taxes, of course, you always need to hold on to the property for at least 2 years. And always consult your attorney and or accountant on that. So jumping into the next slide. So here in Southwest Idaho, the value right now is in the appreciation that your investment nets annually. Now look at this graph. It's astonishing. So since 2000, which obviously was 20 years ago, but in the last 20 years, the home value has appreciated 142%. With an average over those 20 years, keep in mind that we had the market crash of 2008 to 2010, but the average overall has been 4.5. If you look at the last 5 years, we're at 60% appreciation with an average of almost 10%. And over the last 2 years, 24.18%, average annual rate of 11.4. And that is just the average. Where I live in Eagle, it's been more like 17%. 2 years ago and 14%. So those are just the averages of all of the areas. Pretty crazy. So here's an example. This is a client of mine. It's a buy and hold example here in Eagle. So remember the median price in Eagle was $565. So this was an amazing deal. And you can find deals like that. Like I said, if you're just super paying attention to the market and acting aggressively. We made an offer in 1 day on this home. The listing agent had not done an awesome job of marketing this home. It's when we got there to look at it, it looked like a murder scene or something. There were books strewn everywhere. There was no sign out on the property. I think it deterred other shoppers, the condition of the home. And that to us was just a great opportunity to kind of pounce on the home. So we got in there, we put an offer in. And we actually got it for a little less than what the listing price was, which is also never happening, especially now. So it was listed at $299. We got it at $291. And we got this in March, 1,400 square feet in Eagle, where the median is $565. So it was just a steal. It was in an older neighborhood. Eagle generally is like a newer, rural area with 5-acre lots. But this happened to be in an older neighborhood. My client put 25% down on this investment. And I'm just kind of going over real quick. The cap rate was 5%, but the appreciation's where the value really is. This is already appreciated 4% from March. So he's already at $11,640 from March. And here's a flip, split, and build. And this one is so fun. This is such a fun property. And I was talking earlier about how it's hard to find a flip. It is a rare occurrence. I just want to point that out. So don't be thinking of that strategy when you're thinking about our investing in Idaho, which is a great idea. But you can find the opportunities. They're not like abounding because a lot of people have caught on to the idea of investing here. However, this one though was listed at 288. This was in 2018. These are some pictures of it before it was, well, when it was listed for 288, sitting on almost half an acre in an area that's close to downtown Boise, on the corridor to downtown Boise. Something really unique about Boise that I want to point out right now is if you can find an investment property within the Boise the city impact area, the city of Boise, they are very, very liberal about letting you split the property and build a home on that property. They are interested in keeping the home buyers within the city limits instead of them moving out to the rural areas. So they are totally liberal about allowing you to make a split, which is a really awesome thing for investors to remember. So this one, they went to the city, they were able to get this lot split off on the back. And if you'll notice, I don't know if you can see on the side of the home here to the left of that picture on the right, to the left, that they made that like an easement road where the green home shares it with the home that was built behind this home. So they built a home on the back half of this property, listed it for $499 and sold it for $499. The actual property here was almost a wash. It took them 10 months to renovate. And I think the next one shows pictures. No, it doesn't. I'm going to go back. It took about 10 months to renovate. They sunk in like $65,000, but with real estate fees and closing fees and everything, it came out to be about a wash. So that, like I said, the real money was to be had on the back side, on that lot on the back. There we go. I got a little bit ahead of myself. All right, here's another one. Here's a buy and hold in Caldwell. All right, so Caldwell is on the outskirts of Idaho. Not on the outskirts of Idaho, on the outskirts of Boise. It's about 20 minutes on the highway, on the freeway to get to Caldwell. So a lot of people are moving out into that area because it's much more affordable. So this home, also one of my investors purchased this. This home was just purchased in April. It's 1,100 square feet on a small lot, 0.14 acre, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So it sold for $224,900. My investor put 25% down with a cap rate of 5%. It rents for $1,450 a month, and it's appreciating at a little less than 1% per month right now. So he bought it in April. He's already netted $8,900 in appreciation on this home. This I just pulled last night. This is a current fourplex, and actually I pulled up another one that just popped up this morning. It's also a fourplex, brand new. Both of these are brand new. That other one was $709 and quite a bit larger square footage. So if you're interested, I can send the listing to you. But for this one is in Star, Idaho, which is a suburb of Eagle, which is a great place because Eagle's the highest median price per home, and Star is kind of the suburb. So people that want to get into Eagle, a lot of times will look to Star if they can't afford to get into Eagle. So this is a fourplex, brand new. It's actually under construction for $725 for all 4 units, 3,680 square feet. The HOA fees are $100 per unit per month. And it'll have a community center with a pool, 5% cap rate. These I'm estimating after using my formula will rent for about $1,350 to $1,450 per month before the HOA fee is tacked on there. So you would tack that $100 extra on. So that's a great investment as well. And then I just wanted to touch on a couple of commonly asked questions, things I get asked all the time, and things that have been asked of me at other seminars with Sequoia in the past. So I wanted to just touch on a couple of those. So the average tax rate in Idaho is 0.09%, less than 1%. And that's the average, like I said. Here in Eagle, where I live, and in Star, it's like 0.075%. Out in Nampa, there are more bond levies that have been passed for education and so on and so forth. So it's a little higher, but it's never higher than, I haven't seen any areas that are above 0.9 or 0.09. So landlords charge anywhere from 8 to 12%, but What I didn't put in here was if you have a landlord managing multiplexes, they will charge as low as 7%, for a bulk rate. And it's much more common to find someone renting at 8% in our valley. Okay, now this is where it gets really fun. The rental vacancy rate is 2.77. It was 3.12 a year ago. It's really difficult to find a good rental. It's probably my biggest pain as a realtor is helping my clients into short-term rentals because they are just pretty much non-existent. It's really hard to even find a rental with a year lease. So now's a great time to own a rental in Idaho. Something that I'm seeing with my clients, well, I have a couple properties that I have managed. And one of them is a luxury property here in Eagle. And when we put it on the market this year, we put it on the market in June, 25 applicants within the first week, all highly qualified, excuse me. And it was for a $3,300 a month rent. And it was so competitive that people were offering to write a check for 6 months cash or upfront, so paying the rent for 6 months upfront. I've had insurance companies contact me over those properties and ask if they could pay up to $1,000 extra per month in order to get a short-term lease. So that is just something that's there's a lot of demand for that right now. Even like a month to month, you could get premium rent for that. Okay, this is in the Boise area. The average rent is $1,565, and like I said, that's in the Boise area. And the Boise area is surrounded by many rural areas, as you saw, that are all great areas, as you saw earlier in the presentation. Rent increased from last year 14.6%, and over the last 3 years, it's been 31%. And okay, this is an apartment close to downtown Boise, renting for $1,250 a month, and this apartment is 973 square feet. And then just to touch on luxury rentals again, I keep getting ahead of myself, and I apologize, but it's, it all flows for me. So here's a picture of a luxury rental where people are, just an example of how something that I'm seeing a lot of with my luxury clients is that they want to figure out the area. They want to kind of feel the valley out before they decide to commit to one certain area, because honestly, there's really not a bad area in our market. There's not an area that you wouldn't, and that any of us would not want to live. So they, a lot of times, have a hard time figuring out where to put their roots down. So they'll want to rent a house and build a house, rent a house and figure out where they're going and then go ahead and start building. That is like a common theme that I see all the time. So those people a lot of them are families or executives looking for a place to rent in the meantime. So there's a big market right now for luxury rentals. There's a shortage. Okay, here's an example. Here's one that is 4,100 square feet, 6 bedrooms, rented for $3,400 a month. Last time it was marketed, there were tons of applicants within, and I have a friend that was telling me, she's not my client, she's just my friend, and she was telling me that they were thinking about moving out of their home and renting, and she'd been keeping an eye on rentals, and she said, literally, you have to apply within 10 minutes or you don't get the luxury property. So anyway, so this is just kind of talking about what I was talking about, willing to pay cash up front in order to get the rental. That's what renters are doing right now. All right, I feel like I'm going fast, so I apologize if I am. Finding the right property in Idaho. So I've been watching the presentations that Torrance and Christine did, and they did awesome. And I can't wait to study a little more about their markets. But I wanted to maybe head off some of those questions as well with you guys and answer them for Idaho in case you have the same questions. So how do you get a home in Idaho? The market's competitive. It can be frustrating at times. The best way is to enlist the help of a realtor. And I know I'm a realtor, but I just have to say that is, honestly, you need someone that knows the valley, someone that's been here for a while. not just a transplant that just moved here, but someone that understands the market. They can help you figure out if it's a good investment. You know, we can talk and finagle and work out some numbers. And like, I think it was Christine or maybe Torrance said, don't expect to lowball and do well. In fact, many times, probably 75% of the time right now, homes are going for over asking, usually with multiple offers and at all price points. So it's not just at the low price points, it's even up into, you know, the luxury range. So there's just such a shortage that there's just not. And so the only time that really you could possibly think that you could maybe go in and have some negotiating room as a buyer would be if you're paying cash, or if you are, if the home's been on the market for more than 30 days. Because our market's moving so fast, if a home's on the market for more than 30 days, homeowners are getting nervous and they're willing to probably work a little bit more of a deal. So don't be afraid to look at those rural areas such as Middleton, Fruitland, Emmett, Kuna, some of those areas that are getting further and further from the city. That's where people are moving to because it's more affordable. So investing out there is not a bad idea either. And better deals can be had out in those areas. All right, here are just a couple of stats about Idaho. The median home value 1-year forecast is 0.4%, and that was so conservative. And this actually was a number that I pulled from earlier in the year, from January. I was looking at this last night, and I was like, oh, we've already blown the projections out of the water. So, okay, I have a freebie for you guys if you're interested. It's a 92-page relocation guide for our valley. And this is what I send to investors that kind of want to know more about the valley before they buy a property. I send it to potential clients and to my clients. And it's just really informative if you'd like to take a deeper dive. I'm happy to send these to you. So I'm not sure, Michelle, how I do handle this part of it where I hand out a freebie.
You are going to go, Amy, you're going to go to handouts and you're going to see the little tab and you can upload your freebie and then it'll just automatically get sent to all our lovely attendees.
Sweet, guys. I'm doing it. Give me 2 seconds.
Doing great, Amy.
Thanks.
And I appreciate you giving the examples and showing us your examples from your area too. I mean, it's really just good to see stats and numbers and all the different examples. So definitely appreciate that.
Oh, good. I'm glad that was helpful. I appreciate seeing examples from other areas, and it's hard if you don't live in the area to know what's going on unless you see concrete examples. So for sure. Okay, this is uploading. It's probably got 5 more seconds. Kind of a bigger file, guys, but I think it's worth it if you're interested in learning a little more.
Amy, will you be ready to start our Q&A session? Because I do think we have a question right now that's come in.
Absolutely.
All right. Perry, if you want to go ahead and introduce our first person that asked a question, I believe, during her presentation.
Yeah, Brian Chu asked a question. Brian, are you on right now to ask your question directly? We can unmute you.
We just unmuted him.
Yep, can you hear me?
Perfect.
Hi,
there you go.
I can hear you.
Hi, I was just curious. I think you mentioned short-term rentals and things like that. What's the legality of Airbnbs in Boise and surrounding areas in terms of like regulations?
No problem. There are no restrictions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no restrictions, and there's a shortage. There are not very many Airbnbs, honestly, because I have looked for clients and even for family members and friends that have come into town, and there are not very many Airbnbs. And in particular, there are really not very many that would be suitable for a family. There are lots of small little studio apartments, but so I think you could have that flexibility if you were to buy like a family home with 3 or 4 bedrooms. You could have the flexibility of looking at both Airbnb and then long-term rentals.
And as a property management, do you know people who handle that sort of management as opposed to more traditional long-term leases?
I do. Yeah. In our valley. Yes, I do. So thanks for the question. That was a really great question. Also, to kind of piggyback on that, this is a landlord-friendly state. There are not any laws that impede. You have to give 15 days notice to evict, and that's pretty much it. It's a pro-homeowner state.
Alrighty, I think that was the only question we had for now. So thank you so much, Amy.